Everyone, welcome back to the SQL series. In the last video, we will discuss what data is, why it's important, and how we store and manage it. Now, in today's video, we are going to move one step ahead and talk about what a database is and how it works, like what is DBMS and RDBMS are, and the difference between SQL and MySQL. So, make sure you stay till the end because this is the foundation you need before we actually start writing SQL queries. All right. So, let's get started. So, till the last video, we have discussed about what a data is. So in today's video, we will discuss about what is the database. Like what is database? So now that's we know what data is. Let's talk about where we actually store this data, and that's called a database. A database is a place where we store data in a systematic and organized way. Instead of keeping scattered files or random nodes, a database help us to store large amount of data in tables, where everything is neatly arranged in row and columns. This make it easier to access, manage, and update the data whenever needed. For example, we take example like imagine a school wants to store student information. Instead of writing it down on paper or random files, they created a database called student. Now let's understand with this example. Like this is the pictorial represented representation of the example. Whatever I have drawn in here, like let's understand with a simple example. Like imagine there are two parks. In park A, vehicles are stored randomly, some here, some there, with no fixed order. Like in park B, vehicles are parked in a systematic and organized way, like cars in one line, bikes in another. Now tell me, in which park would it be easier to find your vehicle later? Like of course in park B. So this is exactly what a database does with our data. Like it stores informations in a systematic and organized way so it can be accessed quickly and efficiently whenever needed. In technical term, a database is a collection of data that is stored digitally in a format that can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. It can be hosted on a local or remote computer systems. And till now everything is clear. And the last point is that there are two types of database, like relational database management system and non-relational database system, like NoSQL. So and so now to manage these database, we need a software tool, and that tool is called DBMS. So the next topic is DBMS or Database Management System. A DBMS is a system software that allows us to create, retrieve, update, and manage a database. It acts as a bridge between the database and the user or application software. Like this means whenever you want to store, edit, or access data, you do not directly deal with the data files. You interact through the DBMS. Think of it like a receptionist at an office. If you want to meet someone, you don't search the entire office yourself. You go to the receptionist, explain your request, and they direct you. Similarly, when an app needs data, it sends a request to the DBMS, which purpose it and fetch which like it process and fetch the required data from the database. Some common DBMS software you might have heard of are Microsoft Access, SQLite, PostgreSQL. Now, here are the some important points of DBMS. Like the key points of about DBMS is it manages data in file formats, uses query language to communicate with the database, typically allows single user access, mostly used in small scale industry. Data normalization is not possible in DBMS. Provide basic security and authorizations like that. And to overcome some of the DBMS limitations like no normalization and limited multi-users access, RDBMS was introduced by E.F. Cott, a data scientist at IBM. It offered a relational way to manage data more efficiently with relationship between tables and store strong data integrity rules. Here is a pictorial representation. Whatever I have explained till now, it is shown here in the pictorial representation. Like it is the key points. Whatever I have explained here. So, like I have also mentioned a point like first app or a website communicate with DBMS, then DBMS communicate with database, and get the data from the database, and it fetched and it gives the result to the app or website. So we move like next question arises: what is RDBMS and how it work? How it different from DBMS? So after understanding DBMS, let's now talk about RDBMS, which stands for Relational Database Management System. The key difference between DBMS and RDBMS is that while DBMS stores data in a file format, RDBMS stores data in the form of tables, and these tables are related to each other through common fields. This makes data organizations and management much more efficient. Like in short, relational plus DBMS is RDBMS. Most of the modern database that use today like MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, IBM DB2 and Amazon Redrive are based on RDBMS technologies. So the key points about RDBMS is that data is stored in table format with row and columns. We use SQL to communicate with RDBMS. It allows multiple users to access data simultaneously, mostly used in large scale industry. And last one is that normalization is possible in RDBMS, which means we can organize data in a way that reduce redundancy and maintain data integrity. And the last point is that CRUD, like create, read, update, delete operations, can easily be performed. So in simple terms, like if DBMS is like a small office with a single receptionist managing everything, RDBMS is like a big organized office with multiple interconnected departments working systematically with clear roles. So till now, everything I hope is clear. So the next term is like history, advantage and disadvantage of SQL. Here is a pictorial representation of history of SQL. Like SQL or structured query language was first introduced by IBM in 1970, and it was developed as a part of project called System R, led by EF Code, the father of relational database. Later, companies like Oracle adopt and popularized it, making SQL as the standard language for interacting with relational database. So the advantage of SQL. Now let's see like why SQL is so popular and widely used. So it is advantage of SQL. High speed and fast query. Like processing SQL can quickly retrieve large amount of data from database. And second point is that allow multiple views. Like different user can view different part of the database as per their needs. And third one is open source availability. Many SQL based tools like MySQL and PostgreSQL are free of use and efficient and possible. Managing, accessing and updating data is easy and efficient with SQL. Now the disadvantage of SQL. Like any technology, SQL also has some limitations. Like few limitations, that is complex interface. Like for beginners, writing and understanding complex queries can be tricky, and high operating cost. Large enterprise level SQL server like Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server can be expensive. Third point is that high maintenance, like managing data, like managing big data and servers requires skill and professional and constant monitoring. So maintenance may be high. And the application of SQL. Now, where we actually use SQL almost everywhere, like educations, for managing student record, course, and results, and in healthcare, like for storing patient data, treatment record, and billing informations, and retail and e-commerce to manage product catalogs and orders and customer details, and in banking for managing transactions, accounts, and customer profiles, and also in finance to track investments and financial records and company database. So you see, Whether you are booking a train ticket, shopping online, or checking your bank balance, SQL is working behind the scene. So, till now, like I hope I will be able to explain everything. So now it is what is non-relational database. After learning about relational database, let's quickly understand non-relational database, also known as NoSQL database. The main difference is that non-relational database do not store data in a table format like RDBMS. Instead, data can be stored in format like documents, key value pairs, graphs, or wide columns. Then, what are the features of non-relational database? They have dynamic schemas, meaning you did not need to predefine the structure of data. For example, one of the most popular non-relational databases is MongoDB. These are ideal for working with large, unstructured, or rapidly changing data, like social media, data logs, or sensor data. So in short, if RDBMS is like an organized table-based office, non-relational DB is like a flexible storage room where you can store things however you want. Fun fact is that why is it called SQL or what why is it called SQL or SQL? By the way, do you know earlier SQL was called SQL, like which stood for Structured English Query Language. Later, the name was officially shortened to SQL, a structured query language. But even today, many people casually pronounce this SQL, but it is SQL. So now, difference between Excel and MySQL. Now, many beginners often ask, what is the difference between Excel and a database like MySQL? After all, both store data in rows and columns, right? So, let's clear this up. First, we have to talk about similarities. Like both Excel and MySQL organize data into rows and columns. And difference is that data handling capacity. Excel can handle up to 1 million rows of data. And MySQL, and other database can handle millions or even billions of records without slowing down. And second point is that performance and power. Databases are much more powerful because they allow advanced operations like data relationship, query optimization, security management, and multi-user access, which Excel cannot handle efficiently. So, in short, if you are working on small personal or office projects, Excel is fine. But if you are not need to manage large data sets for websites, app, or enterprise software, you will need a database like MySQL. So, moving to the next questions like what is the SQL versus MySQL? Now, let's understand the difference between SQL and MySQL because many people get confused between these two. What is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is a language used to perform CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete on relational database. SQL keywords are not case sensitive. So, like capital letter of select and small case of select means the same thing in SQL. So, what is MySQL? Then MySQL is an open source relational database management system (RDBMS). It uses SQL as its query language to manage and access the data. Developed and supported by Oracle Corporation, data in MySQL is stored in table consisting of rows and columns. It's one of the most popular database under used with PHP in web development. Runs on a server and support both small and large applications. And known for being fast, reliable, easy to use, and platform independent. And uses standard SQL queries for communications. And simple differences: SQL is a language, and MySQL is a software. RDBMS that uses SQL to work with data. Fun fact is that father of SQL is Donald D. Chamberlain, father of RDBMS is E.F. Cod. So now you know SQL is the language, and MySQL is one of the many databases that understand uses that language. All right, friends. So that's it for today's video. I hope you now have a clear idea about what SQL is, what a database is, and the difference between DBMS and RDBMS, SQL versus MySQL, and lots more. In the next video, we will dive into one of the most important topic like SQL data types. We will learn about different kinds of data we can store in a database like number, text, data, dates, and more. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you didn't miss the next episode in SQL series. Thanks a lot for watching. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.